Welcome back to Coach-to-Coach. Today's guest is Craig Forster. Craig is a life and executive coach and an avid learner. Craig regularly attends retreats and trainings all around the world. Craig and I met in Jamie Smart's Clarity community several years ago. We're both Clarity coaches, and quite often the two of us are the ones asking the most questions when we're on calls with Jamie. Thanks for joining us today, Craig. It's so nice to see you.
Wonderful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so happy you're here. The way I like to start these discussions is to ask what first sparked your interest in coaching?
Um, well, my interest was sparked through actually coaching, unexpectedly coaching. So I was exploring the subject of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I'd been reading books on that and I got fascinated by that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a training on that. It was a weekend life skills training. I've always been fascinated by the mind and what makes us tick. And so I thought I'm going to invest in some proper training on this. And that was so wonderful this particular weekend that I then took the next step. I mean, these weekends are tasters for the next thing, really. The next step was to go on to do a full diploma in life coaching, bit of hypnotherapy actually, and NLP, and I became an advanced master NLP practitioner. And in the process of getting those certifications, we were coaching back then from an NLP sort of process perspective.
Mm.
And I unexpectedly discovered that I absolutely loved the process of coaching people back then. I've moved on a long way since then, which we might get to, but and I still love it, but coaching in a much more different way.
Yeah.
But that was it, really. We were coaching each other, then getting clients to practice with, and it was like, wow, I could make a difference in other people's lives as well as my own.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what sparked my interest. And so back then it was a bit of a selfish endeavor, learning about what I was interested in, following the breadcrumbs of my enthusiasm and
Mm.
interest and fascination. And yeah, like unexpectedly discovering that, wow, this is amazing. Look how people can change and I can make a difference. So
Yeah.
that's what began to sow the idea of maybe one day I could become a coach.
Yeah. Awesome. We share that in common. NLP was kind of my toe in the door into this coaching world too. It's
Yeah.
and I quite it's a pretty common path I think for a lot of us coaches.
Yeah, and of course, some of I mean, Jamie had an NLP business.
Yeah.
Michael Neal was, big in the world of NLP. So it's still a great foundation
Absolutely.
because of all the understanding that you get through that, I think. But
Yeah.
certainly the way of coaching has changed a lot since
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. For sure. I'm curious to hear about your coaching practice, kind of how you work and who you work with.
hmm Um, well, I work with a wide range of people actually, from CEOs, directors of businesses, through to professionals at middle management, or individual contributors in businesses, or sometimes people who own their own business.
Mm.
And one time there was a coach as well. So sometimes it's coaches. So it's a wide range, and I like the variation of that. Um, but yeah, so generally it's people who are interested in living a better life, living a life they love, people who want to step into their potential, play a bigger game, get more out of life and work, stop holding themselves back, things like that. I mean,
Mm.
I love that, and so I don't really have any limitations on who I would coach,
Yeah.
but having come from a corporate background, a professional corporate career before coaching, um, quite a few of my clients have come from that world in one form or another, often in different industries. But yeah, I love working with them in that environment as well.
Yeah. Terrific. And I know I mentioned in the intro that we're both clarity coaches, and we've done quite a bit of programs with Jamie.
Yeah.
And I know you've done, I don't know, many programs with many different practitioners and different modalities and things. Is there a way you would describe how it is that you coach people, like one way or the other? Or is it kind of a combination of everything that you've learned over the years?
Um, I mean, the grounding of my coaching is to help people have transformational experiences and transformational change
Mm,
um, through uh, the foundation I'm coming from is an understanding of how our experience is created, which fascinates me as well. Our
mm,
thought created experience and beginning to get a sense of who we really are under the covers of all of this thinking.
mm,
And so I've seen that when people get sight of that, they can step into possibility, they can step through some of the assumptions and beliefs that are holding them back. And therein lies the possibility of transformation. So I think there's an underlying focus on helping people have insights and realizations that make a difference to them, that change how they see things fundamentally, so that they then begin to show up in the world in a different way. So it's all about whatever I'm doing. It's not about teaching anybody anything. It's very much showing up as a pure coach,
mm,
but seeing the unlimited potential in people and um, yeah, helping them move forward into whatever they want to create or accomplish. Um, yeah,
yeah,
so that's it. But insight and realization is at the heart of change. So that's really the foundation of my coaching. And
mm,
the three principles, which I know you're familiar with, I've got a kind of grounding in that, but
yeah,
sometimes that never might never even come up in a coaching session. It's not
yeah,
about teaching that.
yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love your use of the word transformation. I'm wondering if there's some examples, one or two stories you'd like to share, either from yourself or a client
Mhm.
who went through a big transformation as a result of coaching.
Yeah, there's one. I mean, there's several, but one of my clients, what they started coaching with me around was the fact that they were striving in life to progress in their career and get to the next level and get the rewards that came with that, and then acquire the things that you can acquire with the rewards and the bigger house and the bigger holidays and all that sort of stuff. But what they came to coaching for was they realized that they were just never happy with this constant striving and search for external success. And so the kind of transformation that they underwent with the coaching in a way was to realize that happiness doesn't really lie in all of those things. It's an inside game. It's an inside out job. And as a result of working together, they absolutely love their life and filled with joy. And since working together, have in fact still got a new house, got promoted, enjoying all of those things, but knowing that it's not those things that brings happiness. So that
Mm,
was a real kind of transformational story. It was such a thrill to work with someone who, was able to move from striving to thriving, you could say, from
mm,
the inside out. So that's one example. Another one would be somebody I've just completed working with actually. She was working in a particular line of work, not really enjoying it, bit of a toxic environment. So we started working on what was happening in that environment and how to help her navigate that. But has since moved into creating her own business, basically, which has been launched and it's going amazing. And she's almost fully booked in a really short space of time and has stepped out of the mode of being an employee into being self-employed, which is a
mm,
big transition, and you could argue a transformation in itself to step into that and all that it takes to embrace being your own boss and
yeah,
creating your own business in that way. So that's another example.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, big. You mentioned in the beginning, like just the way I took it was like your love of coaching and being coached. And when you share those examples, I mean, I can feel um, the passion and joy that helping people, serving people, guiding people through those transformations
Mm.
brings. That's something that I think we share uh, in this line of work.
Well, yeah, and I think also because I consider that I had my own kind of transformation in a way, in that I was kind of successful. Depends what you mean by success, but
Yeah.
I was a top performer in my in corporate world, in the world of sales. I won awards often in companies for being a high sales performer. I think it was 11 or 12 times,
Mm.
and you know, had all the rewards that came with that. But I was also pretty master at worrying at times, overthinking, and getting stressed, which at times was really hit some extremes. I mean,
Mm.
absolutely crazy because there was a lot riding on the deals we were doing and things like that. So that became a fascination of mine as to hang on a minute, I enjoy the game of life, the success of life, and the rewards of life, but I'm pretty done with the stress of life, you
Mm.
know, and because ever since I was a teen, I was seen as someone who was had some angst. You know, my mates used to say, "Oh, angst! You know, what are you worried about now?" And I just kind of developed this way of being a pretty good overthinker. And
Mm.
actually, in the job I was doing, part of the job of sales was to anticipate the future things that could go wrong, the
Mm.
objections that could arise, to prepare for different tactics that you would take if certain things happen. So it was almost seemed to be a necessary part of the job. But all that future thinking could also be a bit stressful as you're imagining all these things that probably didn't never going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
And through the understanding and programs I've been on, and Jamie Smart's been a big influence in that. I feel that I've completely transformed
Mm.
that as far as you know, transition from corporate to my own business, but just my relationship with the mind is
Yeah.
completely changed. I see it for what it is. Not to say I don't have moments of getting caught up in my thinking and stress, but I feel I'm completely different from how I was before, thanks to the understanding that I've gained through, you know, the various trainings that I've done,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, it's
And
and of course not everybody comes to coaching for that,
no.
like knocking on the door, you know, I want the transformation you had. I
Yeah.
can be working with people on particular goals that they want to accomplish. I mean, I've worked with people for a year, like a chief exec for a year,
Yeah.
on a whole variety of leadership aspects and working with their team and
Mm.
you know, moving forward in the organization. But equally, I've worked with somebody who had a real narrow focused objective they were procrastinating on, had to crack, which was an important step up in their career, but they had to nail some qualification. And that was a really super short, sharp, focused coaching
Yeah.
engagement, which was great fun as well,
Yeah.
as they all are. But they can vary in shape depending on the scope of what we're working on. But I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it too. The you mentioned a bunch of things, insight, realization, um, the principles, mind, all this kind of stuff. I wonder if there's one thing that you'd want people to know and take away from this conversation, what would that be?
Um, One thing. I'd want people to know how amazing they are. Can I say several things?
Yeah,
I'd
there's no
want
rules
people,
here.
yeah, I'd want people to know how really amazing they are
Mm.
and how they really can create whatever they want to create. And I suppose if I boiled that down into kind of another message, it would be that everybody is so much more than they're thinking.
Mm.
And it's the thinking that gets us kind of tripped up. But to realize we're so much more than our thinking and see thinking for what it is, a useful tool, but also something that keeps us stuck.
Hmm.
If we can begin to see through that, then life becomes, you know, something we can play at and have more fun at, more enjoyment at, and just enjoy and have more ease in. So yeah, the potential of people are awesome underneath all the thinking and
Yeah.
um, yeah, so much more than their thoughts.
Yeah, I love that. When you said wanting to know that they are amazing, the
Yeah.
thing that occurred to me was this distinction between feeling amazing and being amazing.
Hmm.
And you know, I think I'll speak for myself and my clients anyway, often chasing this feeling of being amazing and and the power that is kind of unleashed when you realize that you're already amazing. Like it's and coming from, it's not a place to get to, it's a place to come from. and the big difference that can make for us. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that distinction because I think it's if we get attached to trying to find something, um, a way of being that we already have inside. I mean, we're chasing something, we're looking in the wrong place.
yeah,
So I think it's much more about connecting with the truth of what's already going for us inside. And yeah, me too. I mean, I'm a human having well, I'm having a human experience,
mm,
let's say, and patterns of thinking can be deep rooted in there, and can can keep me tripped up now and again. But when I notice it, I can begin to see through that and just embrace creating
yeah,
whatever I want to create.
yeah, love it. Yeah. I know I've mentioned this to you before, but that for many years, Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People was kind of my jam.
Yeah.
And, um, habit one, be proactive. You are the creator. And I
Mhm.
used to think of that as, oh yeah, well, like I can create my schedule and I can create my priorities, my goals. But it's like once I discovered Sydney Banks' three principles, like no, it's much more fundamental than that. The idea
Yeah.
that we're the creator, like we literally are creating our experience moment
Yeah.
to moment, and in a lot of real ways we can influence and direct how that creation unfolds. So
Yeah, I recognize that book as well. I mean, I'm
yeah,
I'm an avid reader, and way before I got involved with coaching, I was reading personal development books, and that definitely some of Covey's
mm,
I loved the Seven Habits and First Things First. I used to I used to love First Things First about prioritizing and organizing
yeah,
one's priorities and things like that. And I think that's a interesting observation. I'm with you on that. That I saw about creating in that, but yeah, didn't see it as deeply as I subsequently went on
yeah,
to see it that like right now I'm creating my experience.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
interesting.
If people are interested in getting a hold of you or checking out what you're up to, where can they find
Mhm.
where can they find you?
Well, they Craig D. Forster at gmail.com, just a regular Gmail account. You can find me on LinkedIn. My profile's on there. You can find me on Facebook as well if that's your preferred platform. But either any of those is
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
great. Maybe I'll close with. I mean, you've obviously got the drum kit behind you there, but I know music is another passion in your life.
Yeah,
And I know I've seen on your Facebook profile mostly like old pictures of you playing at gigs, and I'm very envious. I don't have a natural capacity for playing music, although I wish I did. But
yeah.
somehow my brother got all the music genes in my family.
Well, interesting. 'Cause this is my son's drum kit. He's a professional musician.
Yeah.
And I was a kind of amateur musician. And interesting, might be an interesting little story on that. I mean, when I was about 15, I think it was about 15 or 16, I was coming to an important stage of exams
Mm,
um, at school. And but I was getting so stressed. I used to get very stressed and worried at exams. And my grandmother, bless her, long since departed, she wanted to get me a musical instrument. She used to play piano,
mm,
and she wanted to get a piano. And it wouldn't fit in the house for my parents. It wasn't
yeah.
going to work. So she bought me a guitar. And so my first experience of music was really as a stress relief was to play guitar. And that was from when I was about 14, 15, something like that. And then I went on to be in bands most of my life. And
Mm,
we've got some albums on Spotify with our band and things like that. So it was always just a great release from
yeah.
the stress and pressure of the kind of work I was doing and things like that. And now I'm reconnecting with all of that because I don't need it as a stress relief
Yeah.
now. It's like it's just pure play
Mm.
and creation. So getting back to doing that more.
If you want a few hits on Spotify, do you want to share the name of the band?
Yeah, yeah. Little fish, big pond.
Mm,
Yeah, we're not active currently as a band, but we
sure.
did manage to get three of our albums and an EP on there. So feel free to check it out. I think we've got one listener in 27 countries or something like that.
Wow. That's
I think it's the same person, maybe
yeah,
roving around the
maybe
world listening.
a relative or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a long time before any royalties are ever going to occur on that. I
Mm.
think you got to have billions, but it's a proud achievement to
Yeah,
have that stuff on there, and it's on Apple Music and things like that as well.
that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. This has been another wonderful conversation with you. I always
Yeah, I've loved it.
enjoy it. All right, take care, Craig. Thank you.
Thanks for having me along. I appreciate it.